Thank you for the very provoking talk. Just was a very simple question. This question of organized skepticism, very good point, which is in fact so fundamental to the scientific tradition. And as you mentioned, in the textbook tradition, there isn't that much scope to see that there is that element. You don't have to accept, that you can do it in advance and every scientist work on that. So how do you envisage, bringing that element, let's say, the way you mentioned that it's necessary, but how do we do it? At least the education system, or even amongst, the wider thinking. That is a big challenge.
Yeah, I'll give you a personal experience. Perhaps that would be a good way to interact and react to this question that you raised, and also kind of illustrate what I mean, so that might make our communication better. I'm currently also the chairperson for the new textbook that are being developed by Tamil Nadu. Okay, for sciences from 6th standard to 8th standard. I'm the chairperson for that team. So one of the chapters is about magnetism. Okay, in the magnetism chapter, in the discussion, we all said that okay, we will put an interesting point. Olive ridleys, right? So olive ridleys come back to the same shore where they were born to lay their eggs. I mean, they travel something like about 1,000 kilometers when they are going to lay the eggs. They travel 1,000 kilometers and come back to the same shore. Of course, one question is, how do you know this? That let us keep it up. So one of the recent findings, I'm connecting to the magnetism. Okay. One of the recent findings is that olive ridleys gets magnetic field to find its position. Of course, today we use GPS when we are using this thing, so they do it. So there were two claims. Okay, one claim was that there is a particular protein in olive ridleys which interact with ultraviolet rays, which then becomes like a magnetic medium. Okay. The second is there is one magnetite material which is actually works like a magnetic medium. So there are two groups who are arguing. This is correct, that is correct. Of course, it was not olive ridleys. They are actually doing research with zebrafish, which also does this nettle roaming. Okay, they go back to the same place. So some of the people who are writing the textbook say that why do you want all these things? Simply say whatever the current one. Okay, it's actually researchers have found that it is because of this protein which becomes magnetic material under ultraviolet. Okay, so just say finished. Then you have an alternate option. You present that there are these two arguments and also tell what was the clinching experiment. Okay, you have this option. So we choose this option, of course, after debate. So here we are not just saying because somebody said. Okay, that's and that person is from some University of California. So basically, you're claiming that claim is correct because of the person's position. No, so that we have put it away. We can bring in the question of what are the evidences based on which these two people were debating, and in the debate how this conclusion we have arrived at. Right? So, in a sense, you are bringing in an organized skepticism over here, rather than simply putting the facts. Many times, what we do is we take the easy part. Whatever is the recent finding, you just say it. Not the whole debate, the questions that are there. No, we just want to put it under the carpet. That's not what I think is good if you want to, in modern times, particularly if you want to have informed citizenry, and that is the goal of science education, both in the formal space and informal space.
Thank you very much for this very interesting lecture. But the crucial take-home message is use the word story. We are all accustomed to listen to stories from our childhood. by sitting by our grandmother or whatever it is, etc. So if you really want to attract interest, the papers must read like a story, but not in the sense that it's a story and not science kind of thing. It's a very delicate thing to stay between the two. I will just bring a personal instance. One of my most quoted papers is called Alloyed Pressures, Multi-Metallic Cocktails. I mean, this is mixing together metallurgy and, if you like, drinking to be happy and so on. This received the maximum attention of some of my papers. And the reason why I could write that paper is my association with NIAS, where we have several disciplines, so we are quite capable of mixing, if you like, natural sciences with engineering, with humanities, with social sciences. Same way I may say, Sharda and myself have authored a book, Wood's Tea, the legendary Wood's Tea. Again, the language in that is also very attractive. So not only the substance, how it is communicated is very important. I hope you have now major plans to get many more books published in your series. Thank you.
One point here, I mean, I don't know about research publication. Okay, it also happens in a sociological setting. Okay, I'm not saying that you should not write it like a story. You can, but then you want to get it published, so you like what the journal will accept. So that's fine. I'm talking about when you're talking about a public communication. Your communication should have many elements of story. Characters, conflicts within the characters, resolution. So then you bring in, you can bring in the attention of audience to your what you want to say.
Thank you. I'd like to make a slightly different point, if you don't mind. This is well taken, all everything, your presentation, earlier speaker, the need for communication. But I have a feeling this is a restrictive approach. There are larger issues which lurk in the background. And for example, the policy kind of things, Professor Hamilton mentioned the problem, GMBT or later. There is a problem of credibility which needs to be addressed. It's not communication. Today, there is no credibility left. You see, when you say in India or for scientific things, because we have not established expertise outside the scientific departments. Anything to do with nuclear energy, DA. DA is a government department. Anything to do with space, ISRO. Anything to do with biotechnology, DBT. Your universities have no expertise in any of these areas, so there is no independent opinion. On top of it, you have Science Congress, where all kinds of claims are made at the Indian National Science Congress. So, you have to address the means collectively everybody to establish credibility. In the first place, there is no problem public will accept. So the details of, to my mind, that becomes a much smaller, it's not to belittle how to communicate. That is, of course, well written human interest stories and all, it's a no-brainer. Who will dispute that?
Yeah, sir, your point is very correct. You also made a point that we don't have certain disciplines in universities that largely they are conflict.
Expertise in applied
universities. In Indian condition, as of now, something close to about 98%, 95% of universities are also government institutions. Okay.
They are academic institutions.
Yeah, still.
They are not technical departments.
No, I'm making it something, because I'm personally also involved in a campaign in Tamil Nadu related to India-based neutrino project. So, from that I can say many things. So, you go to there is Madurai Kamaraj University, there is a physics department, there is a person who is interacting with this India-based neutrino project. Okay, so that fellow goes to a village and then talks. They say that, where are you from? Madurai Kamaraj University. You are also a government servant. The kind of thing that he said. Okay. But I see important point where I'm coming to say that. What I think is the fundamental problem is the image of our institution that we have built. There are multiple pressures for that building of that image. The image is that there is no difference between a collector who is supposed to be the representative of the government at the, let's say, district level functionary of the government, and a government servant perhaps working in a university. Because you are applying the same laws to both of them. That both of them are supposed to talk only what is authorized. Okay? What we need is a culture where, whether it is department, whether it is universities, academics, you have people who speak and are seen to be speaking their mind, not what has been dictated to them. Okay? As long as such a situation doesn't arise, whether it is called as department, whether it is called as university, is not going to make a major change. Let's take an example of France. This is of course 3-4 year old survey. So there was a survey about acceptability of nuclear power in France. Surprisingly, even today, there is of course 3-4 years ago, but even that time, close to about 80% of the public were willing to accept nuclear power. In today's time and world, it's not something that you would expect from different places, right? So there were huge numbers, substantial numbers. That's because there is a culture in France, whether it is nuclear industry setup or academic setup, you are not seen as speaking what are being dictated to you by people who are in power that time. So you are seen as people who are thinking, you are seen as people who are speaking, and it's also happening. It's not like you are not being seen. That happens, in public spaces, whether it is television, etc., etc. As part of Vigan Prasad, we are now running an initiative called India Science Wire. India Science Wire. Please go on Google and please subscribe to it. Basically, what we do is that we release on every day 2-3 write-ups on research happening in India, based on published papers. Okay, maybe in some university, maybe in some institution, we release. In some of the cases, when we call that the scientist says that I cannot talk to you without permission of my director. If there is such a rule, actually there is no such rule. But that is what is ingrained into the brain. Okay, I cannot talk to you. I am saying I am calling from Department of Science and Technology. Call back, this is my number, look at it in the website. You write me a mail and put it to my director. If my director says it, but your published paper, it's been published, it's available. So in many cases, I cannot actually talk to the scientist. I just pick up some words from that paper and say that the scientist says so. So this culture needs to change if we really want to have trust for the scientific system. So scientific system, as I was pointing out, one of the essences is organized skepticism. That if you are seen as a community which is involved in organized skepticism, there will be much more trust. If you are seen as a community which is actually speaking or telling things which have been ordered by your bosses, maybe you won't have the same trust. That's the difference. That's I think is the essential, crucial point in India today.
Any of the students?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I just want to follow up on what you said now. Obviously, as you said, that kind of culture that exists in France is not there in India. And being one of the advocates for the neutrino project, you must have faced such skepticism, undermining your arguments a lot. So now your job's not just what I take away is not just communication but also persuasion of the public. So when you face such arguments, such skepticism which undermine your motive, which question your motives and undermine your project, so what is the strategy that you are adopting to tackle such challenges?
Okay. Because it's a closed group and I think academic group, I can speak my mind, right?
Yeah,
I'm also saying take the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one of the arguments when I was called to be involved in that project for communication, that was in two splits. One was about 4 years ago. There was a set of people, and then now, last about 6 months, there is a new set of people. I will not talk about 4 years ago. That's a different time. Okay. So now this time, when I was called, first thing I argued with all the top level people who are involved in this project is that we are not doing this communication exercise to persuade. Okay. The very angle in which you are going to look at this as persuasion will lead you into communicating in a particular way, which will not earn you trust. You will be constantly seen as, no, watch this guy. That fellow is trying to brainwash you. That's what is going to lead. What we should be doing is two things. One, because we are experts in certain area at different levels. Okay, I am not expert in you know, but I know much more than most of the audience that we are going to have. So we are communicating our expert knowledge in a simple way to them. So that should be this part. There should be no doubt about it. The second is listening. Listen to their arguments. Okay? So listen to their argument. There will be two kinds of situation. One, there is a logical flaw in their argument. Point and go. Okay? The second is complete misunderstanding. Because the kind of words that we have used. For example, one of the words that was used in one of the pamphlet was that in Tamil, it's like the Malay Kodaindu Kalvi Amai. So what they have thought is if the mountain is like this, they thought that they are going to drill a hole from top. That's all. So when you are actually saying that no, it's going to be like this, then they say, oh, that's all. Then what is the problem? So there is a lack of communication. Of course, beyond that, there are also other issues which I am not coming into here. We are talking about what is the project and communication. Let's stick there. Other issues like, for example, the overall system itself is there is a huge lack of trust, which also gets reflected on this kind of programs. Number one, and second, the local public have the view that I have some greater problem. Nobody pays attention to that. But then you say that I want to know why there is more matter than antimatter and that is such a great importance and then you want to do this project, I mean, in my backyard. Okay, there are issues here. Why these issues are here? Because hardly you see any scientists talking about anything of this kind. There is no public intellectuals. All public intellectuals, mostly today's world, are from other disciplines or other arts faculty. I mean, I may not agree with all what they say, that's a different issue, but very, you may not find much public intellectual from scientific community, right? So you are not seen, I mean, as a community, we are not seen as a group which is sensitive to large economy. So there is a distance.
Is that more so now than it was before?
Sorry?
Is that more so now than it was before?
Yeah. That's a fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scientific temper, does it any longer exist now?
Sorry?
The scientific temper, would you say that it still exists and is allowed to thrive?
I didn't get your question. Scientific temper, is it still?
Yeah, does it still exist?
It is there in the Constitution.
The question is still exists here.
Yeah, does it? Has it been allowed to?
As a goal?
As a goal.
Yes, it does exist. At least for a substantial section of Indian population, it does exist. Okay, significant section, it does exist. I mean, if you look at Maharashtra, Andhra Seshar, Nirmulan Samiti, recently I was... No, on paper, I'm talking about public, not necessarily institutions or the government setup. Public institutions do exist. And public institutions do play a role in influencing, let's say, government systems. Okay. I'm also not very comfortable, of course, this is not a place to discuss that, but I'm also not very comfortable with this idea of civil society organization and government, as some kind of two polarized institutions, and one is
Public opinion was based on Twitter and is based on your ability to influence the hits that come on a screen.
that's all there. But this kind of break, I'm not very comfortable with. Okay, I mean, that's a very different area.
I have a simple question. I understand that most of the educational or academic setup in the country is predominantly from government point of view or public universities. But slowly the trend change and you have another big entity called as corporate, which Professor discussed and touched upon earlier. So the communication from corporates are broadly driven from the return on investment and profitization of that. So I wonder, when we have presence of corporates in academics as well, and we have various fundings and IITs as well, right? So then communication on the other side, they have programs called CSR, corporate social responsibility, and they have their own communications as well. So I want to know your views on that. And how do you see the triage between so-called government communication, so-called academic communication, and the role for the corporate communication? And in that context, when you touch upon France, I'd like to know your thoughts on institute called as Fraunhofer Institutes in Germany, which sits in between the purely academic and industry. So they take the fundamental research from the academics, make a product of it, and spin off to the industry. So there is a communication lag, the lag of this, which I think we are missing on how we want corporates to communicate with us, or vice versa.
Yeah, of course, if you are talking about corporate communication, and then if you are going to limit ourselves to science communication, I think there is not much connection. Even now, even with the corporate, let's say academic institutions coming up, whether you want to call it corporate or non-government setup, etc., they are all very, very small, and neither in terms of numbers nor in terms of, let's say, influence, they are strong enough in this arena. Corporate communication might be strong in other areas, but certainly not in this arena. So, at least as of now in India, it's not an issue. And every culture or country, whichever way you want to call it, has a history. You know how different systems come together, function. There are laws, there are certain expectations from people. You know, it's not like things. So if in Germany it works in one way, that is not the way, for example, it works everywhere in the world. So we have our own thing that has evolved over a period of time. I'm not saying this is the end, but you can't just copy. There are various things involved. There are laws, there are social norms, there are expectations. Various. Like for example, in India, social justice is still an important issue. You cannot rule it out, right? That may not be such an important issue in, let's say, Germany. So, a system which can work there may not work here.
Is it worry about fake news affecting the Department of Science in India?
Sorry.
I mean, this fake news which is hitting the world in every other stream, is it hitting the Department of Science in any way?
Department of Science and Technology, I will not speak about. But the point that I was making was, like, for example, that's why I said that in today's world, it is not about knowing things, but how confident I can be about that information is a very key. That's why I was constantly talking about in today's time, organized skepticism, arguments about how the conclusion is warranted based on those evidences. They are all important in today's times with this kind of climate.
Thank you.